This is Arukh showing your dad, Simon Lamed Base, Sif Base through Vav. This is Supplemental Day 167 of the HaShulchan Yomi cycle. Base. Yeshan, some say, Avagad Gambi Gargaris Hadin Kane, even though this is the halacha also by the trachea, when it is severed in the width, in the majority, it's treif. There we connect the dots. We join together to comprise a majority. When the severances are not one spot, the covering, rather they're holes, in the circumference adjacent to each other. It's a majority amongst all of them. Treif, it's treif, as we will see in Simon down. Nevertheless, okay, but the spinal column is not like that. It's only for one specific hole that is the majority. But if there are holes around the spinal column, and there's some substance missing there, we'd start with the and when you join together the holes, it'll be a majority. Nonetheless, it's kosher. That's the bach and the shach. By the time in the starter, it makes sense. It's Dafka Gargaris simply by the trachea, which has its own life force, so to speak. Over there, when the majority is missing, it's on one place, its life force is lacking. As opposed to the skin of the spinal column, that the life force does not come from the let's call it vitality. I think it's a good word. Vitality does not come from the skin itself, but rather from the marrow, which is within it. Therefore, every place of the majority is not together. And then it can still sustain it. And the marrow, the liquid will not flake out. Will not be disabled. Those are sure. There's a logic to say when the majority has been severed, even if it's only by combining, it's not going to hold the marrow properly. Even though it's all in terms of a skull, the covering lamed. Right, this should go. So the will cover that holds that you not have not lacking substance. Don't join together to make a majority. Nevertheless, the holds that you have substance missing, they join together to make up the size of a coin. Why shouldn't we say the same thing by the skin of the spinal column? Even if the majority is not on the same level of circumference, such as higher up the spinal cord is slightly cracked, and then it's a little bit cracked below it. The majority, I guess slightly over. I'm not sure actually, it doesn't say here. Maybe even on the same line of longitude. If you're going to be a majority treifa. Also, perhaps if there is in between each hole the size of the hole. It's like irregular parts. Then you will join together even the hole, the part which is hole WHOLE, between the holes, HOLES, like in the windpipe. So it's not clear lalacha. If it's not cracked latitudinally but longitudinally, that's okay. The mistikas orko if it's split longitudinally along its length, then the marrow still be intact. It won't be disabled, dissipate, dissolve, whatever, crack. Even if the entire spinal column is cracked, there's nothing left, even a mashul, which is not cracked on the top and the bottom, it's kosher. So it's Yosef. One person reads this. Somebody who argues. So kol doesn't mean kol literally, but there's almost kol. But time is the reason why it's not like the windpipe, the trachea, she's purposely lamed out, It's going to come similar clear them down. Should try to show mashlo malo matas be something left intact above and below. Excuse me, that's with the sorry if I forget to use the word again. If the trachea, its vitality is in and of itself, in the trachea itself. Shaking Arukh as opposed to the skin. I think it's called the sheath around the spinal column. Came change the mazik lamoch lays lobas. It doesn't harm the marrow. There's no problem. That's the primary locha. I guess so too if the spinal column has been broken, but the spinal cord has not been severed. He's not made, or the marrow inside the spinal cord has been dissolved and it's vibrating literally. I guess it's sloshing. However, if the sheath of the cord itself is intact, it's permitted. But if the spinal column is broken, you have to check the cord. And the birds on one side is higher than the other side, looks like a hump. If it looks like it came through a breakage, so you have to check the cord. Those say because we no longer know how to make this check. It's too big a chumrah. Especially if it walked nicely before it was shechted. Because we can rely in this on our check. If the the spine is crooked, and it could be that happened by a break, which was healed. You should check the spinal cord. See if it will become clear that we can rely on our check in this. Hey, they found the spinal cord black from beginning to end. And the Chacham in that generation said it's kosher. It's a base up. The change color is not possible anywhere except for the lung. Neither life clothing. He says, not so fast. It's not a general principle. The Varashini Mara in a puzzle, yes, it's true. If it changes in color, it doesn't pass it. That's what we see that the membrane is strong, like all the membranes of the spinal cords, other membranes of the spinal cords. But you say the change of color also is accompanied by being weak and soft, soft and weak by the change of color. It's large, like to say the zel can recover. It's like rot. Especially, obviously, that rot possible is the membrane. I assume he's using membrane here interchangeably with or as used previously. The anal chizuk is not supported. Some say the shinimar ain't a poso. Those days that which the change in color doesn't pass. That's when the marrow inside is whole and nice. But if the marrow inside is has lost, has become damaged in some way, even though if there wasn't a change of color, we would not parcel it, like we said before. The fact that there's some marrow missing, indicates also that the change of color of the membrane is a result of loss. For treifa, that's treif. That's from the Prima Godim. That's we said the moach loma level amhorit, that the marrow doesn't make a difference. Zeu shnivra mivnim. That's when it became separated inside. I mean, the smasmates, if it became dissolved on this rachek or soft, as we shall see, treifa. Rabbanan the mitoch liquid zeh see in the cave of Pasay. Rabbanan had a reached a conclusion that as a result of this damage, it's eventually going to get punctured or and or severed. Is also in and of itself a significant form of interruption. It's Rashi and Choledaf Memhei. The Nisrachi Mikra was Nichra, and the Nisrachi called Koshish Baki. The nighttime it's poured like a pitcher. The that the marrow inside the membrane has become like water. The shbachim rosha usofa and can be poured from head from top to bottom. So rosha from bottom to top. But if you would pierce the spinal cord, the marrow would pour out through the hole. So also in this Rashi. Different Rashi there. This masmes, this masmes is less than that. Interesting. So this masmes is less than this rache. She'eno nishbach kamayim. That's what this masmes means. It came like names. It's horrible. She'eno nishbach kamayim. It's not poured like water, and names bekadona. It melts like wax. So it's more viscous. Ad shekshoksin so miniach tzas. So if you hold it, that the spinal cord, and you leave it a little bit out of your hand, so who nichbaf v'nofel, bend over and fall. I guess the cord, I've never held a spinal cord in my hand, but I guess the cord, if you hold it, a normal healthy cord, it stands on its own. Shir shenishbak kikito on the shear of spilling like a pitcher. Havagankin kashir azek shenofen no also has to reach the shear, I guess at least. It's supposed to be more than this masmis, where it'll bend and fall. But it says chemash Rambam. Test Rashi shown the amount of says marriage because of avagav chuli. I feel like that about chuli. I ain't showing the duke. Okay, without the insight, we will not understand that. We'll stop here, of course, for today.